Good morning everyone, welcome back. Hope you had a lovely half term. So this week we are going to be looking at how we can use bar models to help us with addition and subtraction. Now we did lots of practice on adding and subtracting before half term. Remember those videos are still there, so if you're a bit unsure you can go back and have a little practice, and please also remember that anytime you can use equipment to help you, or you can draw using a place value grid if you find that helps too. Okay, so bar models then. I'm going to work through the handout. Sometimes it might be off the screen so I can show you what I'm doing, but I'm going to work through it exactly the same. So first of all, how can we use a bar model for addition? Well, today I've got Lego. Trying to think of something you might have at home. If you're in school, multi-link is perfect. If you're at home, you can use Lego, or you can draw, or you can use something else in 2 different colours if you've got something. So let's have a look at a really straightforward calculation first. Let's look at the calculation for add 2. Now you could do that in your head, I'm sure, but how might you create a model of this calculation? Well, 4 add 2 is 4 holes and 2 holes. I'm using the yellow bricks to represent the 4 and the green bricks to represent the 2. And if I put them together like this, I have 4 plus 2, which altogether equals 6. Now, if I were going to draw this model, I would draw a bar. Now, bars are easy to draw, much easier than drawing circles because it's a rectangle. And if you do have a squared paper, that will help you here as well. So I'm going to draw my bar, and I'm going to split my bar into 6. Now, really, those parts should be as equal as possible, which is why squared paper might help you here. I've got my 6 pieces. I'm going to shade in these yellow ones like this, and I'm going to shade in the green ones like this, just to show you that that is a model of 4 add 2 equals 6, because I have 4 there and 2 there, and altogether it's 6. Let's try another one. Let's try a slightly bigger number. So let's do 8 add 4 this time. So same way, I'm going to use the equipment to model the calculation. So I've got 8 yellow bricks and 4 green bricks. Okay, so I'm just gonna glue those together like so. And I'm going to put them like that so you can see that they're like a bar. Then I'm going to draw my bar. So this time there are going to end up being 12 blocks on my bar, because I've got 8 yellow blocks, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 4 green blocks, which all together is 12. Okay, so I've got, just to show you how we might label our bar, I've got 8 blocks there and 4 blocks there, which altogether equals 12. Okay, right, let's imagine then I had to do a bigger calculation. Well, first of all, I'm going to encounter a little bit of a problem in that I haven't got as many yellow blocks as I would like. So let's see how many I've got. So I've got 11 here. 11 yellow and 10 green. So if I were going to draw that one, how many blocks have I got all together? I would do my 11 yellow blocks like this. And then my 10 green blocks like this. Oops, put those together. Then I put them all together like this. Okay, now if I have to draw this one, this 11 add 10, if I had to draw that, goodness me, I'm having to draw a very long bar, and I'm having to do lots of tiny little lines, and it's going to take me a very long time. And remember, when we draw models, the point is to try to make our calculation a bit easier. So what could I do instead? Well, I could still draw the bar. And first of all, I'm going to draw it to the same size as my length of Lego. And at this time, I'm going to draw one line. I'm going to draw one line where we split from yellow into green. And then I'm going to label the parts of my bar. This one is 11, and this one is 10. Now, I don't even have to draw the bar the same size as the Lego. I could just draw my bar, split it about where I think the split would be, and then label 11 and 10. That way I've got a model to show me 11 add 10, which hopefully you've already worked out, equals 21. Okay, so going back to our handout then, let's have a look what it looks like. They've gone all the way up to 24 here. So they've shown that when you get to 24, or in your case, don't forget, before half term, you were adding 3-digit numbers. That's an awful lot of Lego bricks and an awful big table we're going to need. So we don't need to draw a model for each block. Okay, you can just draw a section of the bar for each part of the calculation. Let's have a look at it in practice then. So here's some adding problems, okay? Let's have a look at number 1. Omar bakes 10 biscuits. Ruby bakes 12 biscuits. How many biscuits do they bake all together? Now you absolutely could get 10 of one colour brick and 12 of another colour brick, and you can put them together and then work out the total. Or you could do what they've done here. You could draw the bar. So they've drawn one bar. They've split it here because they know that the 10 is less than the 12, so it's a slightly smaller section of the bar, and they've labelled it 10 and 12. It's really important to label your bar model. And then they've done one big line across here and they've put a question mark because that's the number they're trying to find. 10 adds 12. Now, the bar model is brilliant at representing your addition, but it will not do the calculation for you. You're still going to have to do that yourself. So I think you can probably do this one in your heads. 10 and 12 equals 22, which tells us they bake 22 biscuits altogether. Let's have a go at number 2 then, together. Okay, so the model's been drawn for you. We'll talk it through, then you're going to go and find the answer and then come back and share it together. Ella has 14 bracelets. Ruby has 17 bracelets. How many bracelets do they have all together? So we've got the red part of our model represents Ella's bracelets. The blue part of our model represents Ruby's bracelets. So we've got a long bar. This part of the bar represents 14 and this part of the bar represents 17. So what I'd like you to do is pause the video and write down for me which calculation would go in this box to find the question mark and how many bracelets they have all together. Then unpause the video so we can go through the answer. Okay, so hopefully you wrote, to find the question mark, you have to do 14, add 17, and hopefully you worked that out for me. Now, if you couldn't do that in your head, remember, you can always fall back onto your written method, making sure to line up your 1s and 10s. 4 1s and 7 1s is 11 1s, which is 1 10 and 1 1. And then 10s, we've got 1, 2, 3 10s, giving us 31. And it's always fine, remember, to draw a model or use equipment if you need to. So that tells us they have 31 bracelets all together. Okay, now we're going to try doing a couple together where we have to draw the bar model ourselves. So let's have a look at this one. Millie's dad spends £225 on a new family tent. He has £78 left. How much did Millie's dad have at first? So let's draw a bar. We have got this part of the bar is going to represent the money that was spent on the tent, which is £225. Remember, the first thing you do is you just put in the information you know. And then he's got £78 left. So this is the money he's got left. And we know that that is £78. So then the question is, how much did he have to start with? So we need to find how much he would have before he spent the money on the tent. So how much did he have in total? So that's our bar model this time. I would like you to now pause and have a go at solving the calculation for me and then come back for the answer. Okay, so to find the answer to this one then, we want the whole amount. So we want to add these two parts together to make the whole. So we're going to do this calculation. 225 add 78. Remember, I need to line up my ones, my tens and my hundreds. I'm going to draw this one. So there's 2 hundreds, 2 tens and 5 ones for 225. And then 78 is 7 tens and 8 ones. Okay, so now I'm going to add them together. So starting with my ones then. 5 and 8 makes 13 ones. So I'm going to take 10 of those ones, oops, and I'm going to turn them in to a 10. So what I've done is I've done 5 and 8 is 13, leaves me with 3 ones and 1 10. Now I'm going to add up my tens. So I've got 2 tens and 7 tens and 1 10. That makes 10 tens altogether. So I can take all of those 10 tens and I'm going to exchange them or regroup them into 100, leaving no tens left. And then altogether I've got 1, 2, 3 hundreds, giving me the answer £303. Okay, this time I would like you to have a go at drawing the bar. So here's the problem for you. Farmer Green has 123 sheep. Farmer Giles has 218 sheep. How many sheep do they have all together? I would like you to pause the video here, have a go at drawing that model for me, then do the calculation to find the answer, and then unpause to see if you're right. Okay, so Farmer Green has 123 sheep and Farmer Giles has 218 sheep. So Farmer Giles has got more. So the bigger section on my bar model is going to be Farmer Giles. So I've got Farmer Green. Their sheep are represented by that part, and this part represents Farmer Giles. In your bar model, you might have put Giles and Green the other way around. It doesn't matter, as long as you've labelled it correctly. So I know that Farmer Green has 123 sheep and Farmer Giles has 218 sheep. So that's what I know. What do I want to know? How many sheep do they have all together? So I want the whole here. And hopefully you remember that you do that by adding together the two parts, and hopefully the bar model is helping you work out that's what you need to do. So again, I'm going to draw it just to show you that you can always draw to help you do the calculation if you want to. So I've got 123 and 218. I'm going to add my ones first. So I've got 11 ones there all together. So I'm going to regroup those into a 10, leaving 1 1 behind and 1 10 there. 2 tens and 1 10 and 1 10 is 4 tens, and I've got 3 hundreds all together. So they have 341 sheep. Here's your practice for today. The first two on your sheet, these two, the bar models have been drawn for you, and you will notice that the numbers have now got quite a lot bigger because they want you to practice what you learnt before half term. Okay, so have a go at those. When you get to the next page, you will find that these problems don't have a bar model for you. So I would like you to have a go at drawing a bar model if you can, to help you. If you finish your practice today and you still have a little bit of time, you can always practice your bar modelling by creating your own problems. So maybe you will use some of your friends at school or your family at home and make up some problems about them. So for example, you might think about cupcakes, and you might say that Mrs. Brown has, let's use a 3-digit number because we're good at those now, 148 cupcakes. And Mrs. Forney has 217 cupcakes. And then you could ask the question, how many cupcakes do they have all together. And that word all together is a really good clue to work out what we're going to do to find the answer. So you could write your own problems like that and then maybe ask somebody else to solve it for you. Draw the bar model and then you can be the teacher and check they're right. Okay, I'll come back tomorrow with your answers.